Power is quiet until it doesn't need to be. The loud ones expose themselves. The emotional ones destroy themselves. The reactive ones hand their control to others without realizing it. The world believes strength comes from shouting, arguing, and proving a point. But the people who actually win confrontations, the ones who walk away without ever raising their voice, play a very different game. They don't overpower you. They outthink you. They don't argue with you. They outposition you. These are not soft lessons. These are weapons for the mind. And those who understand them never fight the way ordinary people do. These are the 7 silent rules to win any confrontation without fighting. Rules used by strategists, rulers, corporate sharks, political tacticians, and anyone who understands that the battle is lost or won long before the first word is spoken. Rule 1, control the frame before the conflict begins. Every confrontation begins long before the clash. The first battlefield is the frame, how others see the situation. If you allow someone else to set the frame, you've already lost. The one who defines what the interaction means silently becomes the authority. People don't follow truth. They follow the dominant frame. Before a confrontation, position yourself as the calm, rational, composed figure. Never look rushed. Never look desperate. Never look reactive. Your composure becomes your weapon. If you enter a room nervous, they dominate you. If you enter a room bored, they fear you. The calm person always looks like the one holding the knife under the table, and people don't challenge someone who looks like they already know the ending. Rule 2, never compete for attention. Make them compete for yours. Most people lose confrontations because they chase validation. They talk too much. They defend too much. They try too hard to be understood, but the person with the least to prove always holds the power. Silence makes people insecure. Indifference makes them confused. Lack of reaction makes them question themselves. Stop trying to win attention. Instead, control who you give yours to. When someone confronts you expecting a reaction, do nothing. Let them drown in their own anticipation. Let them feel the weight of your silence. The person who speaks less controls the conversation more. Attention is a currency. Spend it like you're rich, not desperate. Rule 3, predict their moves by understanding their fears. People are predictable. They pretend to act out of logic, but they are ruled by fear. Fear of embarrassment, fear of loss, fear of being ignored, fear of being wrong. If you can identify what someone fears most, you can predict every step they'll take. A boss afraid of looking weak will overreact. A rival afraid of being outshined will sabotage themselves. A person afraid of confrontation will surrender before the conflict begins. You don't win by overpowering someone. You win by understanding what controls them internally. While they react emotionally, you move strategically. The moment you see their fear, you see the lever that controls them. Rule 4, shift the environment, not the person. You can't change people directly. Pressure makes them resist. Instead, change their environment. It changes the timing, change the audience, change the atmosphere. People behave differently depending on who's watching, when the moment hits, and what the surroundings signal. Make the environment favor you. Speak when they're tired. Negotiate when they're overwhelmed. Confront when they lack support. Delay when they're prepared. Advance when they're distracted. A person may resist you, but they cannot resist the environment, quietly pushing them in a direction. You win without force because the surroundings do the pushing for you. Rule 5, appear predictable but think unpredictably. Humans fear what they cannot predict. When someone believes they understand you, they relax. When they believe they've figured you out, they slip. So give them a version of you that looks simple, steady, calm, consistent. But think like a ghost in the background. Hide your true intentions. Conceal your strategy. Mask your ambitions. When the moment comes to strike with a decision, a silence, or a move they didn't see coming, their shock becomes your advantage. Predictability is your disguise. Unpredictability is your blade. Rule 6, use their momentum against them. Most people talk themselves into defeat. They over-explain, overshare, overreact. Let them. The more someone speaks, the more they reveal. Let their anger betray them. Let their ego guide them. Let their assumptions blind them. Don't interrupt. Don't correct. Don't push back. Just watch. A person rushing toward conflict exposes every weakness they hope to hide. And when the time is right, use their own momentum, their words, their mistakes, their certainty against them. Rule 7. End the conflict in a way that leaves no return. If you must finish a confrontation, finish it in a way that leaves no path for revenge, not through aggression, but through finality, through distance, through silence, through ending the conversation so decisively, so calmly that the other person cannot reopen it without looking unstable. Remove their leverage. Remove their audience. Remove your availability. When someone realizes they cannot reach you emotionally, socially, or strategically, the confrontation dies on its own. Victory without battle. Power is rarely taken. It is surrendered, quietly, unconsciously, slowly by the person who reacts first. Most confrontations fall apart not because one person is stronger, but because one person loses control of their own rhythm. These 7 rules are not about aggression. They are about mastering tempo, energy, and perception. Once you learn to bend those, every conflict becomes predictable. And once predictable, it becomes winnable without lifting a finger. Rule 1 teaches you to control the frame, but controlling the frame is only the beginning. Now you must learn to control the pressure. Human beings crumble not under force but under uncertainty. They can prepare for a punch. They cannot prepare for silence. They can resist your argument. They cannot resist the feeling that they're the only one losing their grip. Confrontation is emotional temperature. Lower yours or yours. Raise theirs. The one who feels more is the one who loses more. When someone confronts you with anger, your calm exposes their instability. When someone tries to embarrass you publicly, your stillness makes the room question them, not you. When someone rushes you for answers, your refusal to be rushed quietly rearranges the power dynamic. And the more they push, the more powerless they look. This is Rule 1 in action, but evolving into something deeper. Rule 2. Never compete for attention. Make them compete for yours. This rule isn't about ego, it's about gravity. Humans are naturally drawn toward whatever they cannot easily obtain. Your attention should feel earned, not given. When someone tries to provoke you, they want your reaction because your reaction validates their importance. Deny them that, not through hostility, but through neutrality. Indifference is not cold, it is strategic. A person who cannot get a rise out of you begins to doubt themselves. They wonder if they misjudged you. They wonder if you are hiding something. They wonder if you know more than they do. Their imagination does the work for you. You become larger than the confrontation itself. This is why powerful people speak less. They don't need to fill the silence. They let others spill everything in the void. Rule 3, predict their moves by understanding their fears. Most people misunderstand this rule. They think it means reading minds. It doesn't. Humans advertise their fears without realizing it. Their posture, their tone, their habits, their insecurities. Everything is a clue. A man who constantly brags fears invisibility. A person who interrupts constantly fears losing control. Someone who always blames others fears looking weak. Once you identify their fear, you have their blueprint. A person controlled by fear cannot see the trap you set. They cannot see the pattern you reshape. They cannot see the direction you lead them toward. The best confrontation strategy is to know them better than they know themselves. Then you move first, mentally, while appearing to move last. Rule 4, shift the environment, not the person. People do not change under pressure. They dig their heels in. That's why pushing someone internally almost always fails. But environments shape behavior effortlessly. If a rival feels safe in a group, remove the group. If someone acts bold in public, talk to them in private. If a person is aggressive at night, speak with them in the morning. If someone thrives in chaos, shift to a structured setting. If they thrive in structure, introduce unpredictability. You don't need to break them. You need to break the context around them. This is why smart leaders change the room layout before negotiations, shift meeting times last minute, or alter who is present. Every environmental shift changes human behavior, sometimes dramatically. People think they're reacting to you, when really they're reacting to a world you quietly redesigned in Rule 5. Appear predictable, but think unpredictably. Humans trust patterns. They feel safe when they think they know who you are, what you'll say, and how you'll act. Give them that version of you. Make your behavior look steady. Show consistency. Appear simple. But beneath that mask, be calculating. Be watching. Be adapting. The moment they assume they've figured you out, you already own them. Their guard drops. Their confidence rises. And confidence is the softest part of human armor. One silent move, one unexpected decision, one refusal to react, one moment of strategic delay can flip the entire confrontation on its head. They aren't really fighting you. They're fighting the version of you they misread. Rule 6, use their momentum against them. Most people destroy themselves with their own aggression. The harder they push, the more off balance they become. Let them talk, let them reveal, let them rush, let them assume. Their momentum becomes the rope that tightens around them. If they insult you, they expose their emotions. If they exaggerate, they expose their lies. If they lecture, they expose their insecurity. If they rush you, they expose their desperation. You don't stop them. You guide them, just enough, into their own undoing. People think confrontation is won through dominance. It's not. It's won through patience. Let the storm burn itself out. Let the fire consume its own oxygen. Your victory is not in overpowering them. It's in letting them overpower themselves. Rule 7, end the conflict in a way that leaves no return. This doesn't mean being cruel. It means being final. The quietest way to win a confrontation is to become unreachable, emotionally unavailable, socially distant, strategically absent. A conflict only continues when both sides stay connected to it. So cut the connection, remove access, step out of the game. Not dramatically, strategically. The fight dies because you remove the oxygen, and the other person cannot start a war alone. This is how you win without fighting. You end the battle by ending their ability to reach you. Powerful people don't win confrontations because they are stronger. They win because they understand human nature, its cracks, its currents, its blind spots. Most people walk into conflict fueled by emotion, ready to argue, ready to defend. But the ones who dominate before a word is spoken operate under a colder truth. The person who remains emotionally invisible controls the entire battlefield. Everything comes down to the 7 silent rules. But mastery comes from understanding how these rules interact, overlap, and create a psychological net around your opponent. This is the part most people never learn. They know the rules, but they don't know how to use them together. You will. Because winning without fighting isn't one move, it's an ecosystem of subtle moves. A quiet architecture of control. Rule 1 taught you to control the frame. Rule 2 placed attention on your terms. Rule 3 let you read their fears. Rule 4 changed the world around them. Rule 5 let you hide your intentions. Rule 6 used their momentum. Rule 7 sealed the door shut. But the true mastery is understanding why these principles work. Humans fear what they can't predict. They doubt what they can't read. They crumble when something feels off. But they can't explain what's wrong. A silent strategist doesn't attack your body. He attacks your certainty. And once certainty cracks, everything slips through. This final part will show you how to weave all 7 rules into one complete method. So you don't just win confrontations. You end them before they begin, the pre-battle, winning before the first word. 95% of confrontations are decided in the first few seconds, not by what you say, but by what you radiate. If you look tense, you already lost the frame. If you look emotional, you already surrendered attention. If you look defensive, you already admitted guilt. But if you walk in calm, truly calm, your presence itself becomes a weapon. People expect energy. When they don't get it, they lose balance. Their script breaks. A calm person looks prepared. A calm person looks like they're hiding something. A calm person looks like they know the ending. People don't attack someone whose silence feels dangerous. You win the pre-battle by being unreadable, not cold, controlled, not distant, precise. There is a difference. People fear what they cannot interpret. During the conflict, the 7 rules in motion. This is where the real mastery appears, not in the words, but in the spaces between the words. Control the frame by not accepting the emotional energy they bring. If they raise their voice, lower yours. If they lean in, lean back. If they rush you, slow down. Your rhythm becomes the new standard. They follow it without realizing. Control the attention by choosing what you react to. Not every question deserves an answer. Not every accusation deserves defense. Not every insult deserves notice. A person who answers only what matters looks powerful. A person who responds to everything looks weak. Control the prediction by watching their fear signals. If they fear embarrassment, pause before answering. If they fear loss, mention consequences without threatening. If they fear confusion, give them no clarity. They will retreat before you advance. Control the environment by choosing the setting. If you're cornered, walk away. If you're outnumbered, change the room. If you're unprepared, delay. The one who moves the battlefield controls the outcome. Control your image by appearing predictable. Let them believe you're simple, harmless, easy to read. The snake that strikes is never the one hissing loudly. Control their momentum by letting them reveal too much. Let them talk, and they will confess. Let them brag, and they will lie. Let them rage, and they will expose their weakness. Your silence becomes their undoing. Control the end by closing the door quietly. The most powerful ending isn't dramatic. It's clean, calm, and irreversible. Distance is the strongest weapon. Availability is the greatest weakness. When the rules move together, you look untouchable, not because you fight, but because you never allow the fight to truly begin. After the conflict, the power of vanishing, ordinary people linger after confrontation. They replay conversations. They justify themselves. They chase closure. Doing this gives the other person continued power. But you disappear. You don't explain. You don't clarify. You don't reopen the door. Your silence becomes the final verdict. People fear what lingers in the shadows, not what stands in front of them. By vanishing after the conflict, you force them to deal with the aftermath alone. They rethink everything they said. They question who you really are. They replay your silence more than they would have replayed your words. Their imagination punishes them more than you ever could. This is the essence of Rule 7. End things in a way that leaves no return, not through aggression, but through absence, not through dominance, but through distance. They cannot confront a ghost, and a person without access becomes powerless. The ultimate lesson: power is felt, not shown. The world teaches you to fight loud. Strategy teaches you to win quiet. Loud power invites resistance. Quiet power invites uncertainty. And uncertainty is the most effective weapon in any confrontation. In the end, the people who win aren't the strongest or the smartest. They are the ones who master themselves. Because once you master yourself, no one can provoke you. No one can rush you. No one can read you. No one can control you. And a person who cannot be controlled cannot be confronted. You don't win confrontations by fighting. You win by making the other person realize they can't fight you at all. That is the art of the 7 silent rules. Not to dominate others, but to become untouchable.